Hey there, everyone, and welcome to Season 2 of the No Facts with Jenn podcast, where it's still what I say it is. Get your drinks ready because I'm giving my non-expert advice on sex, love, and relationships. Cheers. Hey, everyone, and welcome to No Facts with Jenn. Today we have a really special episode. I am collabing with a wonderful lady. She's across the pond. She's in the UK.
Poland, actually.
Poland. Oh, she's in Poland.
Yeah.
She is from the Badass Female podcast. And today we decided we're going to come together and collab and figure out some New Year's disasters and stories that me and her have both found out. And we'll just go on from there. Do you want to introduce yourself to my audience? My fam. The fam.
Yeah. So I am actually British, but I'm living in Poland at the moment, which is a bit of a strange, unique situation because a lot of people say Polish people move to the UK, but for me, it's the opposite situation.
Okay.
I'm currently, my boyfriend would argue unemployed, but I would argue I'm an entrepreneur / freelancer right now.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I'm kind of working out the starting my own company situation / maybe might get a job. I don't know. I'll see how I go. But yeah, but a fun fact about me is you might not know from my accent, but I'm actually technically Welsh. So, because I was born there. Yeah, it's on my passport, obviously, because, the place you're born is, on your passport. Right. But obviously I was born there. And then because my dad at the time was in the army, we were stationed there for a little while and then we moved away. So I haven't lived in Wales since I was, 8 months old or something.
Would you ever consider going back to Wales?
I have a friend actually who lives in Abergavenny where I was born. And I met her on my year abroad and apparently it's a really nice place. So, and I have gone on holidays to Wales. Wales is a really nice place. If you want to travel around the UK, it's a really nice place. Although, of course, it rains all the time. But it rains all the time in the UK anyway. So I do want to go back there because Wales is just really nice. It's like full of nice countryside, wildlife and that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Sounds amazing. All right. So do you want to get into your stuff first or mine? Or I have a couple of little stories that I found. So
I have a few up on my internet browser and some of them they're from girlsaskguys.com, which is a really great website. If you have any random questions you want to ask and be anonymous, you can just ask any crap you want.
Okay. I
picked a couple that don't have any responses yet because I always feel bad for those people that, Oh, I think I might start with this one that I have. It's titled, How Do I Help Him Become Ready? As in, how can I make him ready for a relationship?
Okay.
Which is like, yeah. Should I read it
I'm
out?
listening.
I read this out and I thought she's clearly, bless her. It's definitely a he's just not that into you situation. But
okay.
You'll see what I mean. Okay. All right. So I met this guy about a month ago and we really hit it off. Well, he broke up with me last week because he said he wasn't ready. He's been through a lot of crap with relationships and he has a lot going on in his personal life. Violence, He told me that I'm still the only girl he wants. He just doesn't want to this is making me laugh, have a relationship right now. He still calls me cute and sweet and still checks on me. I'm just wondering what I could do to help him be ready for a relationship. I just want to take care of him and prove to him that not everyone is going to hurt him. This is so bad. Also, do you think I should wait on him? And that's the end.
I have a lot of things to unpack with this situation.
If this person happens to listen, we don't mean to laugh at your expense.
I'm not mocking her situation. It's just you could tell that she may be very young or a little naive to relationships.
Hasn't seen the film yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe if we go through line by line,
Okay. Let's do that.
Okay, so she's been with this guy for a month. So it automatically says to me, it's nothing serious,
A month
right?
is,
It's just,
yes.
they've dated for a month. He broke up with me last week because he said he wasn't ready. And I feel like if anyone has read or seen the film, he's just not that into you. I mean, the answer is obvious, isn't it? It's basically, yeah, sure, he might be attracted to you, he might like you, but he doesn't like you enough to be in a relationship with you. Because if he
Right.
did, he would be.
Right.
And that's just
And
my take
you
on it.
can't make somebody be ready for what you're ready for.
No, you can't. And I always think no matter what someone has going on, if they really, really like you, they will make it happen and they'll be in a relationship with you, you know?
I agree with that. If
And
somebody wants to be with you, they will put in the effort to do the things to be with you. They're not going to come up with any excuse like I'm not ready or anything like that. They'll figure it out. But obviously he doesn't want to be with this girl. And I don't know why you have to sit here and say, well, I want to show him that I don't want to hurt him or whatever, but why? Why are you wasting your time? Move on.
it's a
Find
classic
someone
case,
else.
isn't it? Of where, like, yes, exactly. And it's a classic case of where someone thinks, oh, I can fix this person and I'll be his special person because I was his, exception, right?
Right.
But it's obviously not.
Right.
And if she keeps going on like this, the person says they do all the stuff that makes you think they're your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, but they're not.
Right.
And then keep thinking in your head, they're my boyfriend, but officially nothing's been said. He's not, calling you his girlfriend. He's not inviting you to meet his mum and dad or anything like that.
Right.
And then before you know it, it's like 5 years later, you've been like dragged along and you're heartbroken at the end when he finally does actually get a girlfriend that he wants to be with. So
Yeah.
she would save herself a lot of heartbreak just by, cutting it and just being friends with this person and, saying, okay, we can't have anything romantic.
Right. And like you said, she might want to fix him, but I'm guessing she's not a therapist. I hate when people say they want to fix someone because people need to fix themselves. They need to fix themselves.
Indeed.
You don't need anybody else to fix you. You need to fix yourself. So when it comes to that, he needs to fix himself if he has like issues or whatever. And she needs to just focus on herself. If she wants to date somebody else, I say go for it. It's only been a month. I don't see how much feelings you could have for somebody after 1 month. So I don't know.
I mean, I would say at the beginning of my relationship, I think the first month was a bit like wowzer. Like it was just felt very intense. However, that was because both of us were giving as much to our quote relationship
right
as each other. But when one person cares more than the other person does, then it's always unequal and there'll always be this like unfulfillment.
Right.
You'll think about this person every day, but then they're not thinking about you.
Not you.
They're thinking about their PlayStation. Right. Or something else.
or someone else. We don't know. It might be someone else. So.
Yeah, exactly. I think what would our advice be to this girl? Basically just, cut your losses, move on.
Yeah.
A guy replied and said, most guys your age are tired of mommies taking care of them. They're more interested in finding ways to believe in themselves and stand on their own 2 feet. If you want something to take care of, get yourself a pet.
Oh, that's harsh. That is harsh.
He's not wrong. Yeah, he said, both of you are still going through adolescence. A lot of changes. A lot of changes go on during that stage of identity and exploration and discovery. It's not something that can be rushed. It's hard to commit to someone else before you even know who you are. Someone said, you can't get him ready. He has to get himself there. Yes, amen to that. Don't wait too long.
Yes.
Do one of yours and maybe we can alternate?
Sure. I actually found a New Year's one. It was from a website called Stylecaster. Title is 8 Embarrassing and Hilarious Real New Year's Eve Love Stories.
Okay.
And there was 2 of them that I wanted to read on here. One of them made me laugh, like one of the sentences in them. So this one is Crosstown Kiss. It says, 1 year, my now husband and I decided to do New Year's Eve separately. He had a guys only group thing and I had a girls only group thing. However, at the last minute, he changed his mind and out of the blue at 11:30 p.m. left his party on on one side of the city and hauled all the way across town to find me. He made it there just before midnight so we could have our New Year's Eve kiss. Later, his friends
Oh.
told me that he didn't even tell them he was leaving. He just walked out. I just
Aw.
thought that was really sweet. Like, I would want my
That's
New
like in a
Year's Eve kiss
rom-com.
too.
Yeah. Oh, that's really adorable.
Yeah,
See? There are still romantic men out there.
there are for you.
Yeah. Sometimes they surprise you.
Yeah. So this one actually, the next one is called Baby Bust. This one kind of made me laugh. It said, last year, my boyfriend and I reunited with one of his college besties in Paris with his new bride and their 6-month-old baby in a chic, albeit tiny flat. They invited us over for New Year's Eve oysters and champagne before going to visit the Arc de Triomphe for a light show. Unfortunately, after arriving, we spent the entire evening listening to their baby screaming bloody murder. We both sat there nursing flutes of deflated champagne and trying to give helpful baby tips we'd seen in movies. Burger, maybe? I heard wiggle baby's bottoms help. What about a little whiskey in her bottle? While really thinking, muffle her with the goddamn pillow already. Eventually, we all left, tucking the destructor of all things good and fun in her pram. And as soon as we stepped out into the frosty air, she stopped crying and passed the fuck out in the midst of roaring drunk Frenchmen and women singing anthems and carols at the top of their lungs. I don't think we had sex that night. Oh, I don't know why you would do New Year's Eve with a baby anyway. Do you have any
It's
kids?
No, I don't.
No.
One of my best friends has a baby, but don't have plans yet to do that.
Wait.
I mean,
I got one kid
it's
and that
just
was
gonna,
like, that's a lot.
yeah, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, that's a lot. One is a lot.
Yeah,
And at 6 months old,
yeah.
yeah, they're gonna be screaming bloody murder. Like, I don't know why you would bring them to a New Year's Eve anything. Just get a
Mm,
babysitter.
yeah. I think it's one of those things that you have to like set your expectations, you know?
Right.
Um, like if you're a single couple, you don't have children, and you're going to go spend it with someone that does, and maybe think about the realities of like what you're getting yourself into, because it's obvious that now if I talk to my friend who has a baby, it's obvious that her son is going to be quite present in the room because he needs his mummy. So, but as a friend, I respect that, and I'm like, it's cool,
Yeah.
he needs you, so we'll talk around it. It's fine. You're a
Right.
mum now. But it's like that situation when like you're on a plane and there's one baby that's screaming its lungs
Yes.
out, and you're like, normally you look at a baby in a pushchair and you think, oh, so sweet and
Oh,
like
beautiful baby.
beautiful, yeah. But when it does something that is obviously interrupting your time, your hearing, your sanity in one room or in wherever it may be, you obviously start then to test the child and and the parents, because there's a classic thing, isn't it, where you see parents, bless them, on a plane trying to quiet down their baby, and they're looking
Right.
around going, oh my god, I'm the worst mother in the world, and then everyone on the plane is giving them daggers like, can't you shut your child up? But it's obviously I think we have to like be nicer to parents, especially new parents,
I agree.
trying their
I've
best.
actually been that parent on a plane one time, and I was
Mm.
mortified because I could not get my baby to calm down. And there was some
Oh.
blessing of a lady that was across the aisle from me. And she's like, if you don't mind, at this point, I was so tired. And I was just like, okay, if you feel like you can have my baby, I don't know if she was the baby whisperer or what, but my kid like just fell asleep and I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what you did,
Oh.
what kind of magic is within you, but but that was, yeah, it's
Yeah.
mortifying like as a new
Mm.
parent, and when everybody's just staring at you, it's hard.
Yeah, you just don't. I mean, it's hard enough being a new parent, I imagine. You don't need other people judging you, and I think
Right.
that's the worst thing, that people, like friends of mine that have had babies, the one thing that not complain about, but they mention, is that obviously being a parent, there are a lot of things that change are annoying. You think, why won't this kid just not wake up through the night, and why won't it nurse when it should? And But then I think the worst thing that people report is like when they get people asking people that haven't had babies, or men, obviously, that have never pushed a melon out of their vagina, asking them
Right.
questions, especially with like breastfeeding, like, oh, that's, is that normal that you just pop your boob out and you
Why is
like
it
feed
so?
the
I don't
baby?
know why that's so
Yeah.
controversial. I don't understand that.
I know.
That's
I know.
that's what
And
they're
then,
for, not for just your
yeah, well, this
pleasure.
is the
They're
thing.
for a baby.
Yeah. So that's a bit of a digression, but that's exactly. It's funny that men, or so anyone who's interested in women, actually, obviously, one of the main things that are attractive are boobies, breasts. And yet, when it turns into breastfeeding a child, only then does a man go, or people go who don't have kids, like, oh, that's a bit weird. But that's
Yeah,
what makes them attractive, right? Because I imagine from a caveman perspective, you're attracted to breasts because you think, she can nurse my child, you know?
right.
But it's just a bit of a conflict of interest that, so now all of a sudden they're being used for what they should be used, and then now you've got a problem with it. Like, okay, that's weird.
Please get over
But
yourself.
whatever. But anyway, back to the exactly. Back to the story though. I think they could have solved themselves the problem. Spending time with their friends, and then in the evening they could go back to their hotel for some hot steps.
Yeah,
With some
I
champagne
agree.
on ice. Beautiful.
So, do you want to
Anyway,
go to this?
why would you expect to have sex like when? Anyway.
Good question. Let's go to your second question.
All right, okay, let me find one. I have a few. Okay, so it's from a woman. She said she started dating a guy. First date went well. How are they hanging out? COVID-19. But anyway, carry on. We hung out days in a row until he had to leave for a holiday trip he had planned before meeting me. He said he is ready to settle down and start a family, which is what I want too. He surprised me with flowers, dinner, and expensive gifts. That's a red flag. His communication has not been great since he's been gone. It's now been 3 days since he texted me. Jesus Christ. Okay. He is kind of shy, quiet, but does this mean he's no longer interested? He texted me that he misses me and sent flowers a few days ago. He said he should be back in another week. I'm afraid this time apart will ruin our bond. Honestly. Okay, can I just... All right, I'll give my reaction. So
Go ahead.
It's been 3 days. Chillax. It's been 3 days. Relax. You know what I mean? If it's been 3 weeks, sure. But it's been 3 days and it's the holidays, so give the guy a break.
Is he spending time with his family?
Yeah, I think that's the idea, that before he met her, that he was obviously probably going back to his family for the holidays, I imagine, for Christmas.
So she's upset because of 3 days.
For God's sake, he sent you flowers.
Yeah, the last time I got flowers, do you know? And you're upset.
I had to ask my boyfriend to buy me flowers.
I'm like, the last time I got flowers, and you're upset about 3 days, and he's spending time with his family. Like, I was spending time with my boyfriend, my daughter, and his daughters for Christmas, and I didn't have barely any time to spend with anybody else because I just wanted to spend time with my family. She needs to be more understanding if she's going to want this relationship to work. He'll be back in a week. Calm down.
Yeah.
He'll be back. He's not going anywhere.
The red flag would be, like, if he didn't buy you flowers, didn't take you out, you know what I mean? If he was just a guy that you were texting on and off and never agreed to meet up or whatever, then yeah, sure, that's he sounds like a douchebag. But the guy did all the right things, taking her out, buying her flowers. I mean, not a lot of guys buy flowers actually these days, so she's quite one of the lucky ones. And I think 3 days is nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
I wonder how old she is. Maybe she's like a young thing, And someone reacted. Okay, should I go through the comments?
Sure, yes, because they were funny last time.
All right, so a guy replied, you can imagine, and said, I've had a few, but I wouldn't be pulling my hair out crazy if I didn't contact any of them for 3 days. ... Honestly. I mean, what did she want them to say, really? This girl needs to learn, I believe, the lesson that absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yes.
Doesn't it? And it's actually nice to miss someone and to and then when you do finally get back together and meet them, or they call you out of the blue, it's like, oh, hello. So I think she needs to learn this lesson.
I agree.
I think she is learning this lesson.
3 whole days. Ooh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She needs to get it together.
OMG. Get your stuff together, girl. All right, well, maybe. Wait, let me just check if there's anything else. Yeah, someone just said, it means nothing. He's probably busy in some work or got some situation going on, just like we all do in our spare time. Whoa! And she replied, he's already retired and rich. Okay, game changer.
She sound like a gold digger.
I know! But still, just because someone is retired and has lots of money doesn't mean they have to, spend time with you all the time.
Right. I think a lot of people don't understand that even though you're in a relationship, you still have your own life. He still has his own life outside of her. So,
yeah. Yes, well, I hope she learns that everybody deserves their space and maybe just get a hobby while you're to stop yourself freaking out.
I mean, he's rich. She can afford a hobby.
I mean, I would have thought she's like at least around his age. So if she's sort of a mature lady, she should have learned these lessons by now. But then
let's look at the other side of that. She might be very young though. He might want himself like a young thing because she's like, he's retired and rich. Like that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. She might be younger still.
It sounds like, I mean, the way that she's sort of written. Okay, so moving on. Maybe let's move on to something you found.
Okay. So I found another story. This one is on insider.com. And this one is called New Year's Eve Horror Stories from Reddit. Went to a New Year's Eve concert where a guy I was semi-seeing and his band were playing. I had planned on surprising him because I originally thought I couldn't make it. Midway through the show, he's like, I'm dedicating this next song to a special lady. She said she couldn't make it, but I just spotted her in the audience and I couldn't be happier. My heart was a flutter. Here's to you, Anna. My name is not Anna. He pulls some other girl on stage and starts serenading her. I honestly thought I was going to die then and there. As soon as I could escape, I ran out of the venue, crying all the way down Essex, stopped in a bodega, bought a 6-pack of Coors Light. Yes, and drank them on the train ride home.
Oh my God. Wait, this is Essex, right? So it's UK.
Yeah, that one is in the UK.
Oh, that's something that should be on The Only Way is Essex. Wow. Okay. That's proper Towie.
That sucks.
Wait, so was she dating this guy?
She was like, I guess they were like kind of dating, but not like officially, because she said she was like seeing him, but.
Do you have that thing in America as well? The seeing someone? Thing?
Yes,
or is it,
we do.
Do you have this thing where like, do you know what I mean? It's like it's a classic thing that I feel like teenagers use. Like if there's a boy you're in like a girl's life or something, your parents would be like, "Oh, is he your boyfriend?" And she'd be like, "No, like we're just seeing each other. Like it's nothing."
Yes, we have that as well. It's like before you're dating, you're just, I guess, trying to get to know each other, the seeing each other phase, or we call it like the talking phase, like where you don't have a title yet, but you're.
It's the most irritating phase. Like I'm so glad. Do you know what? Me and my boyfriend never did that. We did 1 week of, well, I guess you could call it seeing, but it wasn't. It was basically we were dating without knowing it, and then we just got together.
I think the exact same thing happened with me and my boyfriend as well. I weirdly met him, and I met him in a really weird way. And then I sent him an email and was like, hey, we should hang out sometime. And then we went on a couple dates, and we never saw anybody else. It was just like, okay, we're together. Like there was never a time when I felt like I was seeing him. It was just, we were together.
Yes.
So,
and also by that story, it makes me think, like when you're seeing someone, it's like impress the other person or do something really spectacular. Whereas when it happens organically and in the best way, in my opinion, you just spend time together and then you just both say, oh, I really, really like you. Let's be together. And then that's it. And you don't have to impress each other. Like I, by no means try to impress my boyfriend when we got together. I had like the flutters when you email them, when you sort of get an idea you like them, but like you're not sure if they like you. But then it didn't last. It was like a week, you know. But this whole seeing phase for some people can last months, and
Months.
I just cannot get
Yes.
it.
I don't either. I'm not wasting my time, my months of my life on anybody. Like either we're
Mm.
together or we're not.
I feel bad. I
I
feel
mean, I
bad for
feel bad
her,
for her, the non-Anna girl.
I
But
think this is just the classic case where you just have to have boundaries, and you just have to get. I feel like you have to be more sensitive to knowing where you are with somebody. Like, I mean, if I'm seeing someone, I'm not going to go out of my way, go to their concert without telling them, and risk them not even being able to like see me because they're busy on stage and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's just, I feel like she needs to have a bit more respect for herself, like to.
what you're getting at kinda is like she needs to, with this guy, she probably should have set her expectations as to what she expected out of him, because maybe he
Mm,
thought they were just, because she says just
yeah,
semi
yeah.
being. To me, that doesn't say, hey, like I have to commit to you. So to him, maybe he didn't even think he had to be committed to you. So I think like for future relationships, she should consider setting those boundaries and those, her
Mm-hmm.
expectations with what she expects out of that.
Ah, poor girl. Bless her. She's from my country. I feel bad for her. Oh, I hope. But the thing is, these kind of experiences, like when you actually do find a good partner, it's like you feel the benefit, don't you? You think, oh, I went through all this crap with other people, but with you, it's just so easy and nice and simple. I have one about a man asking why women choose toxic men.
Oh, ooh, yes. Let's get into it.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and read it out. I mean, I might paraphrase because it's quite long. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not the nice guy, but I do consider myself to be a focused person. I'm not entirely sure what he means by this. Focused as in someone who's studious. He spelt studious wrong, which is ironic. Knows what they want to do in the future and have occasional moments of immaturity to still be somewhat, I don't know. Basically, he's like a focused person, but he likes to have fun as well.
Okay.
And they reciprocate that teasy side of me very well. So basically, I'm not a boring and bland person, nor am I not willing to stand up for myself when times call for it, as some might believe me to be when a question like this is asked. Despite all of this, how come women treat me badly and end up with toxic men anyway? He says, my first girlfriend stopped communicating with me because she was too busy cheating. My second girlfriend broke up with me through text and quickly moved on. Note, they initiated the relationship by asking me out. I asked out one of my friends who rejected me and gave me the silent treatment lasting 1 day. One pattern I noticed with all these women is that they moved on to toxic relationships. My first girlfriend was abused by her new boyfriend. My second girlfriend went back to her ex and was cheated on again, twice in fact. And the girl who rejected me ended up with an older guy who cheated on her numerous times with older women and argued with her a lot. I'm not a perfect boyfriend, nor do I laugh at these people's expense, but I do consider myself to be a better candidate than what most women have to put themselves through. We need more men like this, especially women who I know to have pure good personalities and morals and who should receive the opposite of the attention they get now. My friends even approach me and ask for my advice about their toxic boyfriends. One who feels neglected, the other one is abused as well, and one who's been cheated on by two exes. They say, all men are bad, but how about men like me? Am I just meant to be used by women as a one-time fling and peacemaker? Basically, he's being friend-zoned by the sound of it, with no experience of having an actual healthy and long-lasting relationship for myself, period.
I feel like this is one of those situations where he needs to look at himself. Why are people rejecting you? Why is it just you? Like, it doesn't matter who they decide to move on to. The fact that they don't even want to talk to you, maybe there's a reason why. Maybe he needs to start reflecting
Mm.
on himself, because he doesn't sound that good of a person to me.
He sounds like he's got the foundations to be a good boyfriend, if you know what I mean. Like he's obviously saying I'm not a cheater and that I want to be someone's good boyfriend, which is nice that he has that aspiration. But I mean, those women just weren't that into you. Let them go and have their toxic relationships and learn their life lessons and don't bother about their business as well. I feel like a lot of people care too much about other people's business. It's like I don't care what my ex is do, who they're dating, who they're marrying.
I don't even barely think about those people. Like, he seems like he might be still caught up in his exes. Maybe that's why he's a little bit, it sounds like he's kind of bitter to me.
I agree. One life lesson is it's better to be rejected than to not know. Do you know what I mean? Like, at least he's putting himself out there.
Behind every no is a yes. So, like, yeah, you get these no's, but at some point, somebody's going to say yes. Like, I don't know. To me, it's like people get rejected every day. Like, move on, find somebody else.
I feel like it's the day's thoughts about that women only go for toxic relationships. Saying it's like women sometimes say, "Oh, men suck. Like men are just the worst." I wouldn't want this person to turn into one of those bitter men that every woman he sees, he's like, "Oh, well, you're just gonna like reject me anyway." Like, and then that would ultimately affect his self-esteem, and it would. Like, I'm pretty sure if he was to express this opinion to a woman, it would make him less attractive to her because he has these thoughts. Like, he's like being a bit judgmental. Maybe he just needs to grow a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And he needs to work on his confidence, his own self-confidence.
And avoid labeling people.
Yes. Yes.
I had a conversation on this platform once about some guy was basically like, why don't all women break up with me or something? He was basically saying, like, I'm not very good looking, I don't have much to offer, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, why is it women just are never interested in me? And I'm like, well,
You
maybe
literally
if you were a
said
bit
you're
more
not
self-confident.
attractive. You don't have anything to offer. Like,
Yeah.
with that thinking, why would you want to date somebody that has thoughts like that? No, you wouldn't. So it's more of like he needs to, that's one of those you need to change yourselves kind of thing.
Yeah. Someone said the reasons are very complicated. Usually it might not even have anything to do with you, which it probably doesn't. Some people just subconsciously fall into certain relationship patterns over and over again. The most likely reason for this has to do with their relationships with their parents growing up, or it might have to do with their parents' relationship to each other. And that's it. I agree.
I do think it has something to do with him, though.
Yeah, I think he needs to be a bit more open-minded and just like not dwell on the past.
And then another thing to think about is what is he doing where he's attracting this same type of female?
But I feel like maybe he's the kind of guy that might be too intense, and then that scares the women away, and then she falls back into her pattern. I don't know. That's just a theory. Could be.
I mean, it sounds like a solid theory, though.
Because I mean, he's been rejected a few times. Like, that's quite not a lot of men. I mean, I know you can get rejected, but that seems like a significant pattern. Like,
yeah,
3 times in a row. Like, maybe you should think about how you're treating people that you're with. All the best to him. We hope he finds someone who loves him for who he is.
He needs to focus on himself right now, and then worry
Yeah.
about women later. Okay, so then I did find another on Yahoo Answers. There was one says boyfriend ditching me on New Year's. That's the title.
Oh.
It says, okay, here's the scenario. I'm 20. My boyfriend of 2.5 years is 31. We have been having a long distance relationship since August because his job moved him to New York City, about 15 hours away from where I live. We weren't able to see each other over Thanksgiving for a few weather-related reasons. So now that we are supposed to see each other over Christmas break, he is ditching me on New Year's. My family lives about 4.5 hours away from his family, so I'm home for Christmas Day, but planned on going back the day after to spend time with him for about a week until he goes back. He just informed me that he is going to a concert with his friend Scott on New Year's Eve. Although New Year's Eve isn't special to him, he knows that it is to me. His argument is that we have a whole week to spend time together and that one night is ridiculous for me to be mad over. He's telling me just to drive back home 4.5 hours for New Year's Eve and spend it with my friends if I don't want to sit at home by myself. He gets very defensive when situations like this come up and makes me feel like I am being irrational. I'm not sure if it's a way of manipulating me or if he really feels like I'm being unfair. Anyway, do you think that a week of hanging out makes up for spending time with your long distance girlfriend on New Year's Eve? I'm at a loss for words, and since this is a reoccurring problem, I am thinking this could be the end of our relationship.
Oh no. I had a similar situation with my partner, and I can't remember what it was. It was a special occasion. He was like, we'll spend every day together. What's the big deal? And I'm like, yeah, but this is special, like, So I can kind of understand where she's coming from. And also, it's just the logistics as well. Drive 4 hours and spend time with your family. It's a bit. Couldn't she not go to the concert with him?
I don't know. I don't know why they couldn't
That would have been
compromise that.
cooler,
I don't know if that maybe is
I
a,
mean, his friend would be a third wheel, but
oh, well. At least he'd be there with both of them. He'll be there with a friend that wants to spend time with them, and he'll be there with his long distance girlfriend. I think I get both sides of this. For her, I get it because they're in a long distance relationship. She doesn't get to spend that much time with him. They didn't get to spend Thanksgiving together. I get it. She wants to spend New Year's Eve with you. Like, I feel like there's some kind of compromise they can come up with because
yeah.
telling her to go home 4.5 hours away, that's not a compromise at all. And that's what really relationships are, a lot of just compromise.
And I think, if you're upset, your partner should be able to understand that and help you rationalize it and not just say, oh, well, it's just you're being crazy. So I think on the boyfriend's side, he could have been a bit more. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? If you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, likelihood is they're going to want to spend New Year's Eve with you.
Yeah.
Right?
You want that New Year's Eve kiss.
I know. I think they just need to sit down and talk to each other, and she needs to say to him, listen, New Year's Eve is important to me. I want to spend it with you. Also, it's unfair for you to ask me to drive 4.5 hours to my family's house just for one night, probably in bad weather, in the dark. So, no, I'm not going to do
Or
it.
tell me, or
So,
spend it by
go buy
myself.
me a
Like
damn
that's
concert ticket.
yes.
Yeah, what the fuck? Unless it's like a super weird concert where it's like only guys go, like some weird heavy metal shiz, but I would have thought she could still go.
I don't feel like, though, she said she's thinking about ending the relationship. I don't think it's worth ending your relationship over, but I definitely feel like y'all need to have a talk.
Yeah, I think she's clearly thought about it too much, and she's probably thought he's disrespecting me. Some people just do weird stuff, and it takes someone to be upset about it to make them realize that they're being unreasonable or they're being a bit, selfish.
Right.
So my advice would be don't go above and beyond. Only do put in as much as the other puts in to the relationship.
People be wasting their feelings and then getting hurt. At the end of the day, they hurt themselves because they're putting all this work into somebody that is not either feeling the same way or is not willing to put in the same amount of work as they are. So,
yeah, I think you know in your heart if someone's worth it or not.
Well, I don't have any more stories. You have anything else to say?
I have one small thing, and it's not about relationship. It was from Reddit, I believe. Okay, and I think this is American because they say grilled cheese. So someone said, "I grew up putting ketchup on my grilled cheese."
Ew.
And to me, that's cheese on toast. Ah, interesting. And when I got to college, my roommates all started calling me weird. Am I the only one who puts ketchup on grilled cheese? And I thought that was hilarious because I don't put it on the cheese on toast, but I put it on the side because I like dipping it in ketchup. I don't know
I
if you
do
get the same.
not like putting my grilled cheese sandwich in ketchup. I think that's so gross. I like it
That's
just by itself or with like soup or something.
And because I have the same thing, I think I grew up my mum never questioned it because obviously kids mostly have ketchup with everything.
Yes.
And I think I had when I grew up, and someone was like, "You have ketchup with cheese on toast?" Like, really? And I was like, "Yeah." What's wrong with you?
Isn't this normal? Doesn't everybody do this?
Yeah, exactly. And then the last one, I don't know what forum this is on some random, just an advice forum where people were just posting random stuff. Someone said, "I keep catching my boyfriend on gay dating apps." So I don't know what to tell this person, quite frankly.
Your boyfriend might be gay. Like what? He's probably gay. I don't know why.
I think we need more context to judge that one.
Like catching him on gay dating, like he has a profile or
Clearly, I think you do have to have a profile.
profile, yeah.
You're on a dating app, Oh well, I think that's a nice place to wrap up the podcast, don't you?
Yep. Oh my gosh, this was really, really fun.
And it's interesting because when you were saying about behind every no, there's a yes. Because I find when you're reaching out to people on social media to ask, do you want to collaborate on podcasting and stuff, it's like 50-50 between people either not replying or saying yes. So thanks for saying yes.
It was fun. So I'm still like a growing podcast
Yeah.
myself. So I mean, I feel like it benefits both of us to be able to collab together. So
And
thank
I
you
think,
for reaching out.
yeah, and I think it shows like the world is such a small place. And even like across the other side of the world, like you'll find people that have the same sort of interests. Or I'm glad I started podcasting actually, because it's just like opened my eyes to being able to talk to different people. Yeah, so yeah, and I don't know, maybe we can talk about like where we come from, like because we both come from like really different cultures and
I think that would
everything.
be a
So
fun podcast to see, like,
yeah.
especially the differences, even small stuff like grilled cheese and cheese on toast. Small stuff like that is even interesting to me.
Yeah. I used to work with an American guy, and he every time I said something really British, he'd be like, "What?" Or like we even had a conversation about stationery. You know, you guys call it whiteout. So at school, we'd be like, "Hey, does anyone have any Tipex?" And we had this conversation in the office because we're all like translators and stuff. And he was like, "Oh, you mean whiteout?" And I was like, "What the?" You really have different words for this? What's wrong with you? But English is very different in both countries, so
It
it's always an
is.
interesting one.
Hey everyone, Future Jen here, aka Editing Jen. Just wanted to let you guys know, as usual, if you want advice, you can find me on www.nofactswithjen.com and submit a little application, a letter. Let me know what's going on in your world. Also, follow my friend badass_female_podcast. Just find her on IG. She's awesome and show her some love for me. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye bye.